Here we go.
Hey ha ya hey ha ya hey ya hey ha yo hey yo hey yo
Yeah,
hey
click
ha
on that.
ya hey ya yo hey ya
Oh,
hey ha yo hey yo hey yo hey ha ya 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 hey ha yo hey yo hey yo voice community college
yeah.
me too gashi dagush kashka yogi no
Yeah, we're going already, but you can call in too, and we can get you on the podcast by talking on the phone. Okay.
Hey ha ya hey ha ya hey ya hey ha yo hey yo hey yo hey ha
Hey
ya
ha ya
hey
hey
ha
hey
yo
ha ya
hey ha
hey ha
hey ha
hey
yo
ha
hey yo
hey ya hey yo
hey ha
hey
ya
ha
hey
ya
ha
hey
hey ha
ha
ya hey ha ya
ha ya
hey ha
hey
ya
ha ya
hey ha
hey
yo
ha
hey yo hey yo
Volvo has
college ungi epino yo
oh
yo me too gashi dagush kashka yogi
yogi
no
piano
yo
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 wata
aha
baby agi tabi
ake tabi
ya
yachia
ya bino
beno
hey yo hey
hey
yo
yo hey yo
hey ha ya hey
aya
ha
hey
ya
aya
hey ya hey
hey
ha yo hey yo hey yo hey ha ya
hey
hey
aya
hey ya
hey
yo hey
aya
ya hey ha yo hey yo hey yo hey ha ya hey ha hey ha ya hey ha ya hey ha ya hey ya hey ha hey yo hey yo hey yo Fort Beck Community College ungi epino yo yo me too gashi dagush kashka yogi no yo yo wata baby agi tabi itachi ya bino hey yo hey yo hey ha ya hey ha ya hey ya hey ha yo hey yo hey yo hey ha ya hey hey ya yo hey ya hey ha yo hey yo hey yo hey ha ya hey ha hey ha ya hey ha ya hey ha ya hey hey ho hey yo hey yo hey yo Fort Peck Community College ungi epino yo yo me too gashi dagush kashka yogi piano yo yo wata baby agi tabi itachi ya bino hey yo
How me talk pi. Okay, już ga łączyłem kampiczą. Tego właśnie już na page use up do. Usicie Elijah Hopkins, makapi. Dakota Chaje, Dakota unspemi chiche. Makupi.
oh
Oh, was dayan ya hipido. Hello, relatives. Thank you for joining us again for our Buffalo Chasers podcast here on October the 14th, week number 52, I believe. And as usual, we'll do our best to talk a little culture, a little mental health, and we want to welcome everyone, invite you to join this conversation with us. We are running short one of our co-presenters today, but it's all good. Little technical difficulties, we'll get them hooked up, and then. But for now, what we'll do is maybe we'll start off with a prayer in a good way. Dakshi, could you help us out?
Oh. Mitaki epi daya hipi ushima lo nitaki epi unchima kao mani wayaza pe na gixiapo nitaki epi unchima kao mani chante yoksi jo mani o chakiapo. Welcome, my relatives, and again, we ask you to keep in mind, and as you go to your higher power, that spiritual energy that guides you and gives you direction for whatever reason spiritually. Keep in mind those individuals that are not feeling well today, maybe a little ill, maybe a little sick, but also in your thoughts and in your heart and in your mind, think of those that maybe are missing somebody that just has recently gone to the other side and are in that state of mind, as we refer to as that mourning, that grief that they're experiencing. So just keep them in mind as well. So with that, I'll have a prayer here. Ushima oma kiana mitaki pegna gupta. Aha he atukashila na wakantanka taderia doba unchima kana makaina. Na ku mitaki epi wanagi makpea ktaya ge unshia ke nitaki epi unchima kao mani wayaza pe na nitaki epi unchima kao mani chante yoksicho mani o chakiapo ushi wichalapo. Ake tukashila na wakantanka oyate oyasi chanku luta aga omani owi chakiapo. Ambe tukile chante eta wuchekia omakia wuchekia. Atukashila na wakantanka gixiapo mitaki epi na Winukchalapi, Wichakshalapi, Wankanjapi, Okshilapi, Winchinchalapi, Kuskapi, Wikoshkapi, Wichozani, Upi, Chanku Washte Upi, Ambetukile, Ushimala, Owichakyapo. Kixiapo Nitaki Apinaha, Gichita Oyate Kizuya Ekta, Wichashabile, Miapile, Ushimalo. All my grandfathers, as we come to you on this beautiful day that you have gifted us with, we thank you for the rain that you're bringing to us in a good way. And we also ask that you understand the importance of the direction and guidance that we choose to walk. And as we do these things, we always ask you to afford us an opportunity to maintain that humility in order to make good tracks, not for ourselves, but especially for those that are following, our children. Toke takia, mushiake mitakia, mushiake okia chavo, how mitakia oasi, how step.
Oh, Piramaya. Okay, so as a reminder, if you are following us on the Facebook feed, we try and have weekly drawings. And so last week, for week 51, the winners of our Buffalo Chasers jacket is Mr. Ken Hill.
Hey.
We also have a Kindle Fire up for grabs, and the winner of the Kindle Fire is Willow Aurora.
Oh, hey, Chitulo. Okay.
Gonna win a chicken dinner. Congratulations to Ken and Willow. You can redeem those prizes at the Student Services reception area of the War Eagle Vision building here at main campus. If you're not in the area, if you're on vacay, wherever you be, just give us a call, 406-768-6370, and we can mail your items out to you. So congratulations to both of you. But as a reminder, for those of you, again, that are following us on the Facebook live feed, give us a like, give us a share, smash that love button, and then that's how you get your name in the hat for the drawing next week. So we want to incentivize participation, no matter if you're a student, no matter if you're an employee, wherever you're at, you're connected on Facebook, we'll reciprocate. We'll show you some love back. So that's it. Having a little bit of technical difficulties with Earl. Earl, can you hear me? Namaya Khuhe. Okay, so he's on my phone, but for some reason,
Yeah, Dokia Dada. Whoa.
You know what? The show must go on, though. We will continue to work out our technical difficulties. But today, Dexy, Tommy, whatever you want to share with us, we're all ears. I know last week we had a pretty cool experience by going to Rapid City, South Dakota, and there was a Tu-Swecha language conference that we presented at. You and Dexy Earl presented on the Dream Drum, and that was a big hit, real big hit. You guys did really well, and so. But whatever else you want to share until I get Earl connected.
Okay, well, we'll work on those technical difficulties, and we apologize all my relatives that are viewing us right now. But again, we had a very dandy meeting down there at Rapid City in the Civic Center there, and got to meet a lot of old friends. My good buddy Chris Eagle Hawk, and of course my partner Richard Charging Eagle was there, and we got to meet with them and got to listen to Robert Tucrow with a very beautiful prayer and starting us off in a good way. And of course, then we had to and then I visited my other older brother, Tom Bullhead. He was there as well. Always good to see him. A lot of good laughs, a lot of enjoyment. Seen my relatives from up there in Moose Woods Country, Whitecap Reserve. Again, really had a good time with them, and a couple of counselors from there, as well as Frank Royal's wife was there with him, and of course they knew Elijah because they were part of the language program that he was on the Zoom too. So he was kind of assisting one of the teachers there, and so he got to meet up with them. He said, "Boy, you guys look familiar," and here he recognized them through the Zoom. So that was a good experience as well. So had a lot of nice people, a lot of good programs on there. I ran into Tagoja Ethan, and I asked him, I said, "Why didn't you guys show up?" And he said, "Well, they got all their travel and everything in, and then the tribes went on level 1, so they couldn't travel out of state. So they put the glitch to them, stopped them. But we just took off.
That warrior spirit, we just took off.
Heck, we just went for it. But again, they couldn't go for him. So Ethan said he would love to have gone, and so I kind of told him I really had a good time, and people were looking for them and wanting to see them and stuff, but that's why they didn't go. So that's next time we'll get it all together. Then we would have had a lot better representation from the Fort Peck tribes here, but it all worked out. But nephew, a lot of times as we do these things, and the development of making ourselves stronger through our character development, a lot of people don't understand that and why we would do that. Why are you doing that? You're just trying to be nice people or what? No, we're living up to what the identity, the definition of Dakota, Lakota, Nakona, what that really is. And again, that's I'm your ally, I'm your friend. And especially in a fast-paced world, it's very, very hard to maintain that attitude of consistently trying to be virtuous, exercising these virtues, compassion, empathy, generosity, loving, caring, sharing, patience, all this stuff. And it's not that we're trying to be nice people. What we're trying to do is just be the people that this spiritual energy intended us to be. And so, but we got to work on it. We got to do it of our own self. Nobody's dominating us. Nobody's telling us to do this, but they're affording us direction and guidance to really aspire to our potential based on the capabilities that are currently in place at this time. And so as we do these things, I was talking to Nietzsche Ole Chiamitha about all these things we did and the beauty of that experience we got to participate in, and all the people that were there that got to hear these very genuine, sincere words of my older brother Earl, and how he shared the importance of some of these tools that are provided to us to help us understand a way to humble ourselves in respects to walking on Mother Earth in a respectful manner, not only in in our lives, but also in our professions and also in our socializing and all that good stuff. And I felt it was a really good presentation because it was based on the foundation of how the drum came about, what its purpose was, what it was intended to provide for us. And of course, again, Earl talked very eloquently and very in depth about some of these things based on the some of the visions of Wambli Sintewi, that eagle tail woman that had that vision, and how she wanted to help this spirit of the drum bring us all together, regardless of what nation we come from, what society we belong to, or what nationality we are. That drum has got the medicine because it works with the Thunderbirds to bring that healing and make us stronger and help us understand the importance of our inclusiveness that we could aspire to. And you know, I was talking with Earl Chie, and we was talking about, and that's what he wanted to discuss today was, you know, the way our First Nations people live. It's based on a lot of assimilation, forced assimilation, a standard that is somewhat alien to our way of life, but yet we respected that guidance and direction from them because they asked it of us, and so we did it. But yet at the same time, we didn't realize that the importance of maintaining our cultural perspective, our traditional way of life as well, was key and important in respects to not getting caught up in some of that antisocial behaviorism that is represented by that fast way of living, but to help us understand the importance of keeping in perspective the symptoms of what truly has affected us. You know, the symptoms I'm speaking about is alcoholism and drug abuse. Those are symptoms of what the problem really is. And with First Nations people, the problem is the trauma, the historical and cultural trauma that has affected us by us trying to follow the guide of something that was alien to our standard or our quality of life. And we tried it, and it just really didn't work for us 100%. Although we kind of went through the motions and did this and did that, and okay, they said this was going to make us better, and it really didn't. Not because it was oppressive or anything, but it was just not our way. And so it's not saying that we can't live like that, because we do. We can aspire to a lot of these good things, like they really push a work ethic and all that good stuff. We could do that, but yet people are beginning to understand that Indians live on their own time. Indians live in their own way, and not everything is so.
Bullhead. Google Duo video.
It's not so controlled by fear. We have a way about us that helps us to understand that we go beyond that fear, and we're not afraid of dying. We which is consistent with most spiritual approaches in dealing with that. We prepare for that mystery of death. At the same time, through our life, I'm sure this spiritual energy or this higher power didn't want us to be miserable and walking around grouchy and mad all the time. So it afforded us an opportunity of choice to make our life in a good way, to make our life the way we wanted to live, and not dominate or dictate what we should or shouldn't be doing. But as a Dakota, Nakota, and Lakota, if I'm your ally, then I'm definitely going to try to strengthen myself to be representative of not only myself, but my family, my tribe, my community, for the sake of Wola Chota Makasi Domini, which means peace all over the universe. And so in that representation individually, that's where we're aspiring to, because we haven't even come close to realizing our potential in respects to being a human being. And it's hard to kind of be a human doing in respects to that because of that lack or that weakness in our character. So, Chia, you there?
Can you talk, Earl?
Chia.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
What's that though? As long as you can hear me, what's that, huh?
Oh, kind of move your nose to the side a little bit. It's kind of taking up too much of the screen. kind of push it to the side.
You got my voice. I watched that.
Oh, watch that.
I just jumped over here and got here near. Nobody here. 20 ocean.
Oh, where'd they go? Dokiadao.
Basketball, love,
Yeah. Oh, cool. That's all right. To be young, brother man. Yeah. I was
about the conference.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. I was just talking about that. What we spoke about that trauma and stuff, but the conference. Yeah. Go ahead. Share with us about the conference, Chia. Oh.
When I got home, I'm not much of a techie guy, but I happened to go on at school. And I happened to go on get the presentation, but I wasn't really sure what. I got the second session.
Yeah.
And it just so happened my fifth graders came into class. And so I just kept it running. And the questions they asked, they said, Mr. Bullitt, is that you? I said, yeah, that was at the conference. So sometimes kids, they may see reality, but it's hard for them to accept the fact is that their teacher is on Facebook,
Yeah, actually does that, yeah.
Yeah. So I said, well, you want to keep watching it? They said, yes. Let's watch it. So they all circled around and turned it up, and they sat there and they watched the whole entirety.
Yeah.
And I didn't have to say nothing. They just all stood up. They didn't say nothing to each other. They lined up at the door, and the teacher took them, and they all just walked out quietly. First time I ever seen that.
Oh, that's it, Tualo.
They were astounded. They couldn't believe that I was presenting at this conference.
Yeah.
And finally, I said, well, that's effective with these fourth graders. I said, maybe I should try these fifth graders. So they came in next. I said, you guys want to watch Mr. Bullhead talk? How's that? Watch. I said, they got into it. And the same question they said, that's not you. Still have to get over that we are visible people,
Yeah.
And so in my line of thinking, I said, we need to do more of this.
Oh.
Our kids need to see us on these big screens.
Yeah.
Our rooms talking about learning.
Yeah.
And so the fourth grader said, can we do that? I said,
yeah.
Big cast, big drum.
Yeah.
So I said, let me see if I can get it lined up, So
yeah.
We experience that. So all in all, it was a very good presentation.
Oh.
I have to say, because my brother was very touched by it. He said, so he's got some incentive and he's kind of got some motivation now.
Oh.
Moving around a lot now.
Oh.
We touched some spirits, and I'm glad that happened. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I apologize for not getting on here because, technically, I was relying on those Caucasians, but they're not here. But those challenges come at us, you never know, You just can't lose it over that. But I'm happy to say that we got some good feedback on it, so that's nice.
Yeah.
So anyway,
whatever it is that you guys were discussing, I didn't get all of it, but we were going to
No.
discuss something about the what's been transpiring with all this rhetoric that's going on about these boarding schools. But I can truthfully say that my grandchildren are in boarding school in Circle of Nations.
Yeah.
Both of them are really enjoying the stay. Here at home, there were some bad examples being set because they wouldn't clean up rooms. They eat in the rooms and leave dishes in there, and they leave rooms that are mess and stuff. So I said, you guys, you're going to have to learn how to be responsible for yourself, your self-esteem, your respect, your hygiene. That you're going to have to go back to an area where you've been before. So I said, let's see if we can get you into Wapping. You want to go? So that's where they're at. And so Matthew said, I learned how to fix my bed. I learned how to take care of myself.
Yeah.
I learned how to eat right things. And he started seeing all these positive things. So sometimes as parents or grandparents, we do not really see what these kids are going through at school or with their friends socially.
Yeah.
We don't look into it as much as we should because we are breadwinners. And so a lot of times, we kind of come home and fall asleep watching the news, the elderly and all that stuff. So we have to refocus our attention on getting our children, our grandchildren to think of themselves through self-esteem.
Yeah.
So I'm really appreciative that them going away gave me another perspective. I really missed them, but something they have to go through. And I think for us, for myself, going to boarding school, those are the same things that I learned. I learned to be on time. I learned to eat food that was served to me. I learned to make friends. I learned how to play with others. I learned how to fix my bed, put my clothes, wash my clothes. I mean, the fundamental things that we need to do, I learned in boarding school. But keep in mind, too, there were still a lot of bad things that were happening, like the bullying and guys, older boys breaking into the industrial arts building and stealing rubber cement so they can yoke. I mean, we went through all of that. But the number one thing that I always remember is our matrons, who were Native American. They used to always encourage us. The guy that used to make our outfits, take us around and sing at all these old folks' homes or schools and stuff, was named Mr. Chasing Crow. I never forgot his name. He was a crow. He was a crow.
Oh.
So he saw that, So his inspiration or his effort making our outfits, we enjoyed it, And the grandmas, they used to say, don't be afraid to speak your language. Don't be afraid to identify with your culture. That's who you are. Don't forget that.
Yeah.
So, in a sense, what we used to have to do is some of my friends I grew up with, Orville, that we played together and we would speak our language together. But when somebody else approached, we'd switch to English.
Yeah.
Today, it's not like that. We continue talking in our language. Curious, they will ask us. And out of courtesy, we have to learn how to exercise that too.
Mm-hmm.
You have a lot of kids that are not afforded the opportunity. So we are very, how do you call it, placed in a situation to be more responsible when it comes to sharing language. So that presentation, I hope it worked good for the listeners and worked for us. It was very special. And I hope it touches people to get more involved in it. And so I'm hoping that we too will continue and doing what we're doing. And I had an inspiration today. I am going to start developing these how do you call it, a way of teaching the language that I saw was really surprising today. I would pronounce the Lakota term for like animals, household items, body parts, whatever. And I would have them say it as a group until they got the pronunciations correct. And then we had a contest, the boys against the girls. You know, the society teachers say that shouldn't do that. But I think that we as Lakotas, the fun in doing that, very visible. So I said, the boys turn and I said, say Iktomi. They all said Iktomi. So he said, Iktomi, Johalo Chicha, when he's hungry, he makes a web. They all looked at each other and one boy stuck his hand up. He said, frog. Everybody in the classroom laughed because it's supposed to be spider. Tell me, frog.
Frog.
At least yeah, he's got the right idea about, must have seen the nature stuff on.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I said, wait, I can take this to the next level at any age,
Yeah.
If I said, Waposta, Tommy, Waposta, etako here,
Yeah.
So you work on a pronunciation, Waposta, and the Hindu says, if you bona nataga ka sabiawa akaya ke etaksha wakai. So I said, it's sitting on top of your head. So what am I talking about?
Yeah.
Waposta. Yeah. Your hat.
Yeah.
So incorporating the language at a 50 or 60% immersion, and then the conjugation that comes with it, I see it now. So I'm going to start writing all that stuff up and making lessons out of it. Verbal, audio, the whole thing. So I found myself something to do for the winter, eh?
I was
Anyway, taking up time, badly.
No, you're good. I was wondering about a word that you use, egnakapi. Is that a word?
They placed it.
They placed it.
Placed it.
Oh, okay. I was wondering how to. They placed it. I was trying to figure it out and I couldn't figure it out. So, watch that. But they placed it. Yeah, egnakapi. Yeah. Oh, watch that. You know what I was talking about earlier before you got on is the kind of how and why we want to develop our character, and like the boarding school, it helped us develop because it wasn't bad for everybody. Like I went to boarding school. I'm a product of FIS, Flying Drew Indians, but it helped me to understand because we were brought up very, very poor, very poor. We ate a lot of deer meat, ate a lot of pheasants, and lived on commodities. And there was 5 of us children. My dad, he was a single parent, but we were brought up very poor. So when I went to boarding school, that experience for me wasn't a bad one. It afforded me, just like what you were saying, helped me understand the importance of discipline. And then it affected me in a positive way, even after I got out of high school, because right after I got out of high school, I graduated in June and I was in the Army in July. And so, and then when I went to the Army, just like boarding school, I knew what the heck to do. It didn't bother me, but a lot of those folks were getting homesick and crying and, oh my God, here there are men. I was like, what the heck's wrong with these guys? But one of the things that I really enjoyed when I went to boarding school was, man, we got 3 squares and a cot, man. Holy crap, I couldn't believe that. Then what really amazed me is we had our own washer and dryer. We could wash for free. I thought that was so cool because usually it was a Sunday night, man. We had to do our Saturday. we do the laundry. I had to haul water and use that old wringer, you know, from where your arm gets stuck in there if you and then rinse it out and then go hang clothes. That was our laundry. But when I went to boarding school, they had a washer and a dryer, and it was for free. And I couldn't believe it. I thought that was so cool. And then, of course, they had irons and ironing boards, and that's where the creases come in, eh? Holy, I had good creases in the pants, and shirt was ironed. And then when I went in the Army, all of those things that I learned in boarding school, boom, fit right in. And so the discipline that it taught me was a very thing that really helped me to grow as a young man. But yeah, you're right, Chia. That's something that it instills in our young people that is not necessarily bad, although there were bad things that happened to those that I guess put themselves in that predicament, eh? And again, to be understanding of that institutionalization and how it affects us is we had to be strong enough in our character because we were First Nations people that we could overcome that, and we did. Many of us did. Yourself and myself, and I know many of my relatives that went to boarding school. They've all overcome it too, and they didn't get caught up in that abuse stuff because again, somebody come and tried to hit me or hit me with a stick. Well, I'd tear into him. The fight is on, but that's how I was brought up, and so they really that never occurred. And when I was going to Conjure into school, no, I went to Busby over in Montana in Northern Cheyenne Reserve. But the thing that was about that was same thing. They give us three hots and a cot. Man, I was in seventh heaven because they were feeding us, eh? And of course, they give us all the thing to wash our clothes and fold them up and learn how to fold clothes and not have to iron, all that good stuff. But those are the type of things that a lot of our young people today don't have an opportunity to enjoy. And I say enjoy. And of course, in a Tioshpae or a Tiwahe, you know, they need to understand the importance of that strength in numbers, eh? Like what we come from off the res, we have our family, our extended family protecting us or looking after us. And again, when you go to boarding school, you usually go by yourself and you get stuck. Well, you need to create a Tioshpae or a Tiwahe over there, a family to help protect yourself, because there is power in numbers. The ones that try to be exclusive or all by themselves, they're the ones that kind of get in those negative situations. Because again, you know, like I said, if somebody tried to hit me, my dad, you know, he used to beat the heck out of us because they told him to. Okay? This forced assimilation told him, you gotta beat your kids, spare the rod, lose the child. And he really believed in that, man. He didn't spare no damn rod, boy, because we were skinheads. And then after he realized the effect it was having us as children, he quit. Eh? He quit hitting us, and that's why to this day I can honestly share, my children have never been hollered at or have never been hit by me. Eh? It's because of that learning that my dad went through as it relates to him trying to discipline his kids when he was growing up as a single parent. Then I went off to boarding school and learned the importance of all that good stuff. But you know, that's all a development of one's character to help us understand that maybe spare the rod, lose the child isn't good for us. It may be good for them. They live by that. That's a regulatory authority that they live by. Well, it's not good for us though, because we don't look at our children like that, and that's a reflection of how we refer to them. Eh? And again, it's something that we need to understand. Everybody has the right of their own integrity, if you will, or their own opinion, if you want to say it like that. But at the same time, the decision-making process should be based on some moral or ethical value system that you learned about. And in our case, it's in our blood. It's That's why I have a strong belief in genetic memory. It's just in our blood that not to be harsh, not to be mean, not to be that way, but to always be defending that Tiwahe or that Tioshpai with a sense of respect. You know, and that trauma, it created, the trauma created the alcoholism and the drug abuse. Those are symptoms of what the real problem is, and it's the trauma, the cultural and historical trauma that affects our people. And they call it nowadays ACEs, adverse childhood effects, and it's called ACEs, AACE, adverse childhood effects. But that's what they're referring to that trauma as. They should call it what it is, trauma. And then we can deal with it. And then instead of just band-aiding the symptoms, the alcoholism and drug abuse, go right to the problem. You know, I seen where somebody's writing a paper on about dealing with our veterans with PTSD. Well, I think they need to deal with all Indians that live on reservation as a result of that historical and cultural trauma, because I believe all Indians, because of that wardship attitude or status that we live under, we all have PTSD. And so they should be addressing that with all Indians. Give us an opportunity to deal with this mental health problem as opposed to the physical part, which is drug abuse and alcoholism. Don't push that out. Include it, but understand the basis and the foundation is the trauma that we've experienced, because we're strong enough as a result of a boarding school era, going through that, establishing the strength to overcome that bullying like you're speaking about, but at the same time recognize, they fed us three squares a day. They provide us with clean sheets and clean bedding and all that. All we had to do was learn how to make the bed, keep our room clean. That taught us how to do that. All these disciplines that we take for granted, when we were in boarding school, they worked for us, but we were protected by our little Tioshpais. And, you know, I have a connection. I've maintained a connection with one of them that used to really protect me. His name was Ronnie Perry. Him and Nat Moon, they were from Wyoming, Wind River Reservation. They really used to look after me and protect me. And to this day, we're brothers. Olivia, remember she lives there in Fort Yates? She's my daughter through Ronnie. Ronnie was my best friend in high school at FIS because they took care of me. And so I always respected that relationship, but it established that Tioshpae and that strength and understanding, there is strength in numbers. And it helped us learn that survival, eh? And then, of course, there were some weak ones that got dealt with in a different way than we did. But again, like I said, we knew how to protect ourselves. We come off the street, we come off the poor. We didn't let nobody take advantage of us, and if they did, there was going to be a fight, and that's what I mean. But some of them, they come into the boarding school era believing that they were going to be looked after, and not in all cases were they. And so then evolved some of this boarding school era stuff. Like my dad taught us how to be independent. He taught us all these stuff, how to look after, cook, and take care of ourselves. But the main thing he taught us was to be independent. And in that, it took a lot to rely on our little Tioshpai, our Tiwahe, to help us. And that's where that power, that strength in numbers came from. So what are your thoughts on that, Che? What does that make sense in dealing with that trauma or that mental health problem that we're all contending with, all Indians?
I had some insightful thing that came to mind when you were talking about, coming off a community of Bullhead, South Dakota, or Rock Creek. Oh, there existed different tribes. When I got into boarding school, I used to hear the Crows, children talking in their language, and I couldn't understand what they were saying. And so I would inquire. I said, ask my friends, what are they talking? They said, I don't know. They're talking their language. And we had the girls' dormitory and the boys' dormitory. We were shooting basketball there's a big commotion. And so we went over to watch, and here from the girls' dormitory, this girl came out and she had a hat on. She had chaps on, boots with spurs, gloves, and they used to have a bucking barrel. I don't know if you ever rode one of those or seen one.
Yeah.
It was a really, really nice bucking barrel. And my thought was, she's going to ride that bucking barrel? She's going to get hurt, because some of the guys that I seen, that barrel would come up and hit them in the forehead and they get big old
Yeah.
bruises on their head.
Yeah.
She went up there and she had tightened everything up, and she even had a nice vest on, really nice clothes. I said, oh, this is going to be something to watch. You see, those boys were all excited. They had a side rope. They had one in the back to yank, and they were going to
Yeah.
do their best to tumble off of there no matter what. You know, we were sitting there watching it, little bitty guys, you know. She put on her gloves and tied it down and got her straps and all the situation there, her stirrups and stuff. And pretty soon she leaned back and she shook her head and they took off. She
Hey.
guys yanked and pulled on that bucking barrel, and she stayed on it. She stayed on it. They couldn't get her off of that. And us guys, we just laughed and laughed and laughed. And then we started to understand, you know, like, hey,
Yeah.
you know, people have skills, you know, look at, so
Yeah.
she got off of that, kind of brushed her hands off like that, and grabbed her cinch and all that stuff. And she walked away, and all the rest of the girls are walking with her, speaking their language.
Yeah.
But there was Hidatsas, there was Mandans, there was Yanktene, all these different tribes that were assembled in that school system. And we started to realize that there's more than just who we are as Lakotas or Dakotas.
Oh.
There are many different, tribes represented. And so I thought that was something I would interject, because then we start learning more of our cultural, where we fit in it, you know.
Yeah.
So we all became friends, you know. So I was thinking of that. I said, man, wherever she was, she must have been raised on a ranch or something. But man, she could ride. We couldn't buck it off of that.
Pull them ropes just tight, man. We used to have one of those at the FIS. There was a rodeo club. They had a bucking barrel there. Me and Ronnie and Nate used to go out and top their horses off for them. They didn't know it. We'd do it at night. We'd sneak out at night and go ride their horses. They'd come back and their horse was all gentle. They thought they were doing that shit. We were doing it. We were topping them off for them all night, riding all over the place in Flandreau.
I don't know how much time we got left here, but
5 minutes, Gabado.
all I can think about right now is my health wise, I'm getting better. So I'm thankful that I can walk further now, and I can do, I can talk longer now, and you know. We chose on it. It's very good. And then my missus said, you got to eat more and put on some weight.
Yeah.
I give it my best, but it just don't seem to be putting on that poundage, man.
Anyway,
if I stay this weight, I'll be happy, man. I'll be happy staying at this 158. So, when we first watched that video and I seen myself, geez, I said, I said, I've been through many winters.
Yeah.
I think, I think you have a whole different perspective when you see yourself aging, but I'm not afraid of it.
No, shit, you did good.
That's philosophy. So anyway, I'm about ready to say have a good day, and I'll be here Thursday again. And which reminds me, next Thursday I'll have a podcast from Fort Totten, North Dakota Teachers Association. We have 2 days off Thursday and Friday of next week. So I'll be tuning in from over there.
Yeah, just do it. Just do it from over there.
Yeah. I'll take the computer along, the laptop along,
Yeah.
and which reminds me.
What'd you do, Toshka?
Still,
Gonna play a
you
video.
wanted me to
Oh,
go find
okay.
somebody. You wanted me to go find somebody so we could La Colia and you guys could record it?
Oh, heck
Yeah, yeah.
You still want me to do that?
yeah. We
That's
can.
still a priority?
Yeah, it's a priority, but it's also I don't want to stress anybody out. So whenever you're able to make that
Alright.
connection, we can pick a time, or we'll make it happen.
All right. That'd be good. Let's stick to the.
And
Who are you
then
gonna get, Virgil?
stick to the-
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know where he lives, so I'll go out there.
yeah, yeah. And he kind of understands what we're trying to do. He can, because he teaches too, eh?
Yeah. Hey, you have to make a cane and kind of cut him off. Asia, what will I do? Still up here. He likes to talk.
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, I'll get it. And I can't think of anything else I need to find out. But anyway, it's cool, man. Washington.
Oh, I'm glad you made it,
Anyway,
bro. What about our granddaughter? How's she doing? She made it back with you all right?
He's in love, man. God, that's a good
Oh,
job.
man.
Jesus, man. Of course, we all went through that. First
Well,
love.
She took
First
care of you
love.
good over there. So
And
that's
of course-
good. I was glad to see that.
We all went through that. First
Well,
love.
She took
First
care of you
love.
good over there. So
And
that's
of course-
good. I was glad to see that.
We all went through that. First
Well,
love.
She took
First
care of you
love.
good over there. So
And
that's
of course-
good. I was glad to see that.
We all went through that. First
Well,
love.
She took
First
care of you
love.
good over there.
Well, I keep
So
hearing
that's
the
good. I
same
was
thing,
glad to see that.
Huh?
We all
What'd you
went through
do?
that.
I don't
First
know.
love.
I don't know
took
what's
care of
going
you good over
I have
there.
Well, I
to,
keep
uh,
hearing the
I
same
was
thing,
glad to see that.
Toshka.
We all
What'd
went
you
through
do?
that.
I don't know.
First love.
I don't know what's really singing. I have
Well, I
to,
keep hearing the same thing,
I
Toshka.
know.
What'd you do?
Okay, so what we'll do is I don't know what's really.
Angela couple,
There we go.
I'm gonna sign out. My battery's just about dead here.
And then we're
Okay.
gonna play that short
Okay,
video
go
on
ahead.
the feed. Dokstake.
Okay. Toksha, catch here. Beto Ashteo.
Okay, so what we'll do is I'll play just because it's just so popular, and I feel like we're doing a disservice to our audience by not sharing the goodness of this presentation. We can't do the whole thing,
Yeah.
but what we can do is I'll share a link to the full presentation that was initially started off by Dekshi Tommy. He introduced Dekshi Earl for the Dream Drum presentation. I did some recording with an iPad, and I captured about a little over an hour of video at the conference, Tu Swecha conference last week. That's why we weren't able to rock it out with y'all last Thursday. But we did archive a pretty awesome event, and that's what they were alluding to during this conversation.
Yeah.
And then we had Tahanshi, call him Tahanshi Neil. He was able to compile a short little video, which I'm going to share here right now. It's only about 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah.
A lot of people really liked it, really complimented the video or the overall presentation. And so I'll share that, and then we'll shut her down.
Oh, that's it too. Do.
Overall presentation. And so I'll share that, and then we'll shut her down.
Oh, that's it too. Do.
Overall presentation. And so I'll share that, and then we'll shut her down.
Oh, that's it too.
I don't know why it's doing that, but I still want to share it. I'm not gonna let this technology buck me. It's not gonna buck me. We're gonna try this one more time, man.
Okay.
It's not gonna buck me. We're gonna try this one more time, man.
Okay.
It's not gonna buck me. We're gonna try this one more time, man.
Okay.
It's not gonna buck me. We're gonna try this one more time.
Oh, my name is Erwin B. Benedict Bullhead. I'm an enrolled member of what they call the Standing Rock Reservation.
Try this.
Oh, my
Right.
name is
Now-
Erwin B. Benedict
Now, while you're at it, you need to find the center.
Member of what they call the Standing Rock
You need to find the center.
I've been a
Okay,
teacher now
now,
for since I was
Now, while
19
you're at
years
it, you
old.
need to find the
I'm a
center.
member of what they call
It's
Standing
repeating
Okay, you need to
itself,
find-
Coach Scott.
Yeah, I
Keeps
think there's
repeating itself.
there's
A
a
little
bad
glitch there.
I
But put that on
apologize.
that link. Hook it up. Let them watch it of their own accord.
Yeah, what
It's
I'll do
really
is
good.
on our Facebook feed, I will plug in these. I already put them on our Facebook page, but I'll put the link to both these videos on there. So, anything else there, Dexy Tommy?
No, again, we need to recognize the effects of trauma, and that's the base or the foundation of all of these other antisocial behaviorisms. And let's be concerned about that. Let's talk about that. Let's deal with it as it relates to ACEs. Adverse childhood effects that's dealing with our behavior nowadays. And if we don't talk about it, then we're going to continue that behavior. But let's start talking about the mental aspects of some of the things that why we do and why we think the way we think. So just that. I'll hit you to it.
Watch the door. I remember listening to you during that presentation. You talked about how Earl had been sober for 50 some years.
Yeah.
And then you said, but I wonder why he still acts that way.
Oh, I asked that.
Doksta came at
Oh.
Hey ha ya hey ha ya hey ya hey yo hey yo hey yo hey ha ya hey ya hey ya hey yo hey